Yo, what is up, everybody? This is a new segment I'm starting. It's called the Classic Corner, where I tell you guys a little couple of stories about my life, just so you guys can get to know me a little bit better. This story today, actually, is about the one time where I started a YouTube channel and it almost ended in violence. So let's get into it. Man, this story is pretty wild. Okay, so this story goes back to, say, about 2016 range. I was at CPCC and I was about to transfer into UNCC, but I wanted to get something done, you know what I'm saying? Me and my friend, his name is Ty, he used to hang out with me like a lot at this place called Overcash, and he and I were like real tight, man. Like, this is my boy back during the time while I was there. And we used to sit around and we used to play different games and whatnot on our laptops, and more often than not, the main thing we used to play was Warframe. Please play that game, because that game is A1 and it's still to this day one of my favorites. Off road. So in this day, right, on this day, we ended up playing one of the games and we had ended up thinking about, hey, what if we started a YouTube channel? And I said, hey, that's not a bad idea, man. Like, let's actually get started, because during that time Vine was really popular, right? And when it came down to Vine being popular, I was on it for a little minute and I ended up getting 30K on Vine during that time, and I felt pretty accomplished. This was actually when I was really feeling myself and smelling myself, because I was like, okay, I could possibly be an influencer or whatever, So when this happened, it was gassing me up a little bit. But then Vine died and then everything plateaued, and I was like, well, that's a whole 2 years down the toilet. But either way, we're gonna get this started with the fact that I had a vision, a dream, if you will. Call me Giorno Giovanna, but I wanted to make this YouTube channel work. Man, when I tell you, he was down for it, and we had a whole process, a whole setup and everything like that, and it was going pretty well, making skits and everything like that. It was a skit-based channel at first. But when ultimately, after a month or so of us making it and everything like that, we didn't really know what direction we had to go into when it came down to making it, because of the fact of the matter is that majority of the time I would be tired from getting home from doing whatever we would be doing that day, and I had to be the one to edit it. Ty was the one who usually would come up with like some of the ideas and different things of that nature, but ultimately when it comes down to the two of us doing it, we needed more help. So he decides that we needed an outside source to give us some information on how to actually be a social media influencer and all the rest of the type of stuff, and what it means to actually create a YouTube channel. And I was like, okay, cool, can't hurt, to get a little bit of advice, get some counseling and everything like that. If someone knows what they're doing, let's do it. Let's hit up some YouTubers or something like that, or let's hit up some people in their DMs, or watch some videos or some tutorials and stuff like that. There's plenty of videos. But he had something else in mind. This man actually knew a YouTuber who actually went to our school, and he was very popular. He had over like 170K during this time and whatnot. I forget his name and whatnot, but he was pretty cool. But he didn't use this man as a reference. This man goes and asks one of our friends or whatever, or one of his friends, my associate. He asked this man, I'm gonna call him Kyle for the sake of this story. He asked this man Kyle. He's like, yo, Kyle, hey, we need some little expertise on some social media and different things of that nature for you to come down and say, hey, can you help us out and give us a little advice on what we could be doing to be a little bit more organized with our YouTube channel so we could grow faster. First of all, let me preface this by saying that Kyle is very socially awkward. This could not have been more of a worse choice of us asking for someone for help for a YouTube channel. This man, ultimately, now that I think about it to this day, was the probable worst choice that we could have possibly went for asking for help building a social media platform. He was just not the type of person who would even consider even making a channel like that, let alone knowing how to run it. But he was smart, I guess, in other areas. So Ty thought he was going to be the bomb. He thought he would be that dude who could help us out. And so during this time, I'm already on the fence about it, because I'm like, yo, this is supposed to be a me and you type process type thing. We supposed to get some outside help. But old buddy was trying to add him to the group. He wanted him integrated into the actual group in the team. And so this man would be the coordinator, and he would be handling scheduling. He would be handling what each of our tasks would be for the day to keep us organized. Sounds good on paper, right? Okay, cool. So a week of him coming in and saying that everything that we were doing was wrong in general, He then goes and says we need to outsource more help. And so I'm like, okay, so what are you talking about? Like, you getting some of your friends to help out or anything like that? He's like, nah. What we're about to do is we're going to create this into a massive group. And then once you have this group together, you can bounce ideas off of each other, and then y'all can all collaborate on the certain things that you guys need to do. And then y'all differentiate it between a group and all the rest of that type of stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, this sounds good on paper and everything like that. Meanwhile, inside of my head, I'm imploding because I'm like, why are we adding people to this group? I didn't need all these people. I just wanted to be more organized. Okay. But it's fine. No big deal. I'm chilling. Cool. We get the next meeting, right? He has at least about 6 different dudes coming in, right? These dudes are all people who we associated with in Overcash. I didn't really associate with them, but my boy did. He knows them. They're cool. I'm like, all right, so this is what we're doing. We do a few podcasts. We get it together. We get it real nice, right? Everything like that. Then they start to try and overhaul the ideas and whatnot. And it's to where it's not even like he and I have any input anymore. It has to be now a group decision, even though he and I started this group together. I'm like, okay, now it's time to put my foot down. I'm like, this is not going to work because of the fact that I feel like we are losing creative control over the YouTube channel that we're creating. Okay, so I said, all right, you know what we can do? I talked to him. I said, man, it's not working just between the two of us. If we're going to do this as a group dynamic and everybody is intrigued with it, I said, I'll lead the project. I have no problem doing that, but we're going to bring in some more help. I'm like, okay, let me get some of my other friends that I know, people who I can trust to bring in, and I know we'll get some stuff done and they can handle it. And they're very creative themselves. So I got a good bit of my friends together. They got the group that was already established in, and we combined them together and then made the Legends of the Round Table. I know, super generic name. It sounded stupid today as it did back then. And even if you tried to search this YouTube channel up today, I guarantee you a Snicker, a Klondike bar, some Skittles, and a rainbow, you will not find it on YouTube. I swear, it's still up, it's still active, but it's very hard to find because it is that generic of a name. I promise you. So when we had this YouTube channel, we had to like basically sneak up to a certain level on the library and, you know, open up a room and everything like that so we can have it, because ain't nobody was trying to be scheduling something like this was a real club or something. We just needed this room for an hour and a half, even if that. And so when we would get this this room and we would have our meetings and everything like that, and we're basically talking about, okay, this is going to be a channel where we're talking about games, anime, TV, and movies. Simple, right? Can't go wrong with it. Everybody would get their task. I would deliberate everyone to their stations, what they were supposed to be doing this week, what topic we were going over this week, and who had a computer and who was able to edit. Each one of y'all should be able to edit one of y'all videos that y'all are working on. Let's treat it like it's a class project. Now, everybody is down to do this, right? Until it's time to actually get work done. Remember, people, if you want to be a creator, let's be actually creators, because of the fact that everything sounds good on paper, but when it's time to get to work, let's get to work. Because we would come back a whole nother meeting later and I'm like, how's everybody's progress? And they're like, oh, we have an idea, but we hadn't even started the video yet. And I'm like, bro, y'all had a whole week. He was like, yeah, but you know, then here come the excuses. Okay. It's fine. We'll just start shooting the clips at our meetings. This is what our meetings are going to be about. We're going to shoot them here. So we start shooting the clips, shooting the podcast, shooting whatever we're going to do here at the meetings. And so one day, my boy Tende, he goes, hey, why don't we have a live stream? This live stream is going to be dope. It's going to be about the new Final Fantasy. I think it was like 14 or something like that. I'm not really a huge Final Fantasy fan, but this man ended up saying it's going to get us views, it's going to get us revenue, and it's going to get us the ability to reach an audience. This is one of the biggest events of the year. I promise you it's going to get us some views. I said, okay, now we got something. Here we go. Let's get it started. We got the OBS studios locking. It's locked in and everything like that. OBS Studios is already pumping the stream together and everything like that, and all of us are together, and we did a whole live commentary on the entirety of the event. This thing got over 872 views. I tell you, this was great for us during this time. That may not sound like a big number, but for YouTube, that is A1 since day one, because of the fact of the matter is it is hard to do that when you only had 27 followers, if that, and most of them were us. And so at the end of that live stream, we had came back with over 112 subscribers. This was hype for me, but everyone else was like, huh, that's cool and everything like that, but like, we're not like huge. I was like, bro, do y'all not understand what this means? Like, this is good for our first stream. They don't understand. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna blow up. Everybody's new. We're all good. So here's where everything starts to break down, and the group just cascades into chaos. So Kyle brings in another couple of friends of ours or whatever, and this new guy comes in with one of our friends. Apparently he's his best friend or something like that. And we'll call this guy, I'll call him Sterling and whatnot. Now Sterling is a charismatic guy. He's very kooky and whatnot. I'll say that he's kooky. And when it comes down to Sterling, he's one of those dudes where, you know, those type of people where you meet them and you don't really have a reason why, but this person, like, you know, like just completely this person. I don't know what it is about that certain type of person. They could just breathe wrong and you're just like, yo, why are you existing? Bro, it's just, everyone would like this man. Everybody would be eating his stuff up. I swear for Lord, I didn't understand it during this time because I was just like, it's just something about him I don't care for, you know? And so he got introduced to the group, and they thought he would be a good addition because he was charismatic. And so I said, man, what do you say? Would you like to be a part of the Legend of the Round Table after we had the entirety of our meeting together? And you know what this man said to me? He said, dead ass, looked me straight in my eyes, looked me in the face, bro, and said, hey, this is all well and good and all, and I've seen the way you guys have run this, but I'm not gonna join as of yet until I see you guys making more progress. So say like if you guys ended up making it to like say probably like 2,000 subscribers, like, you know, some real numbers or whatever, then holla at your boy and I'll join in and everything like that. But until that time, I'm not gonna hop in on this. I don't feel like this is gonna be a good enterprise to start with. I mean, if you get what I'm saying. Immediately I wanted to deck this man. I was like, if there's any time where someone comes out of nowhere and they're basically like, you have to put in all the work on the project and whatnot in the middle of class, and we all done worked on the group project, done signed it, and you come in and you want to sign your name on it like you put in the same amount of work that everybody else is, but you about to ride the coattails of us? Nah, chief, you're done in these streets. You're done like dinner. I don't want nothing to do with you. Like, that's some grimy stuff. Like, so off rip, this guy, he irks me. So that's strike one. Strike two was when one of the other people who was also a part of the group that initially was brought in by Kyle, I'll call him Javier. Javier was one of the new people who was also really cool in the group, but he was the type of person to say, hey, yeah, Sterling's kind of right, man. I don't actually agree with some of your ways you've been running the group. Even though like you guys have made some progress, I feel like y'all could have been way further than y'all should have been. Bro, it's been 2 weeks. We started this 2 weeks ago and we already had 100 subscribers. Again, that's really good for 2 weeks on YouTube. Like, so they ended up splitting the group in half because there were certain people who liked this man and his opinions better than mine, and they turned against me. And it was basically just Kyle's group, who I wanted to leave anyway. Don't really even care for them like that, to be honest with you. There's only like a choice few people out of the overcash that I really even liked during that time. But like, less on to that. It came back that they ended up making a channel on Twitch where they made a whole gaming channel to basically essentially say, oh, we don't need that group anymore. We're gonna make our own stuff. We're gonna do what we want. I'm like, bro, they couldn't even do the task that we had gave them in the group. How do you think that they're gonna make a gaming channel work? But I said, okay, it's cool. We're good. We're done. It's cool. It's done like dinner. Leave it. So we continue doing what we're doing. The group ends up dissolving even more because Javier is getting whispers. He's getting little tidbits and ties-ins from his little spies and people seeing us leave off for the meetings. We out here sneaking like we're out here trying to be inconspicuous and whatnot. This is some spy versus spy stuff, gang violence and everything like that. This ain't no Tokyo Manji gang versus Valhalla or anything like that. Why are we out here beefing between the groups? And so they really wanted to be like, okay, y'all got a problem with us or something like that? I'm like, no, we don't have an issue. And this sparked because of the fact that during this time, 2 different games came out. Street Fighter V had just released, and then Naruto Storms 4 was also very popular. Now in Overcash, we had this giant screen because it was a separation between a cafe and a gaming area, and this gaming area had like a giant projector type screen, and you had to ask this really old man, could you put on a certain game for a certain amount of time? And if a vast majority of the people wanted to play that game, then that game would be on the screen for an inordinate amount of time. So if you didn't make it there first, Street Fighter V would be on the screen all day long. If it wasn't that, then it was going to either be Naruto all day long, depending on who made it there first. And if the vast majority wanted it, that's just what it was. And people were just livid about it. There was just too much animosity between the two of us, and we would just start calling them overcashers, and they would call us Leviners and whatever because of the different buildings. It was just extra. And so it comes down to a point where I wake up one morning, I'm heading down to the overcash building and just got out of class. I get a text message, and it reads as thusly. It's from Javier. Javier says to me, he's like, hey man, no disrespect or anything like that, but pull up, bro. After this, we're gonna go outside, and if you got words to say, you better say it to my face. And I'm like, lost in translation, confused, very confused. What? Why are you trying to run the hands, my guy? What's going on? And I text this man back. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I don't like the fact that you're talking behind my back and you got something to say. If you got something to say, you can bring it to me like a man, and then we can settle it. He was literally about to fight me over a YouTube channel. Never understood what was going on, but apparently between the group, they were talking some smack. There was some junk spilled between the two of them, and somehow because they were the leaders of their group and whatever, they spread that back to my group and got back to me, and now they're talking about, hey, they want to fight because of it. I'm like, bro, I'm not squaring up with nobody over a YouTube group. If y'all want to do y'all thing, do your thing. I really didn't even want you here to begin with, but that was already specified from the jump. But I'm not about to sit here and throw hands with someone over views that aren't even there. You know what I'm saying? And so we ended up having our conversation. We had a little sit down. This is on some real Scarface type stuff where we over here had a whole meeting and table and everything like that set up because nobody was trying to really get into no beef. So we sat there and had this meeting, staring at this man eye to eye, locked. Had a full-on 30-minute conversation about like running a group and what he feels is right and what he this and third. I was just letting this man get off steam, high key. And we ended up shaking hands on it, parted ways, never wanted to talk to this man again. So fast forward to after all this happens, the group dissolves anyway, because every time I would start a meeting or make a post or anything like that about it, as weeks went on, people went less and less and less and less interested in the group in itself, and it just dissolved and nobody started recording anymore. I was just like, you know what, bro, it's good, I'm done. I'm not about to be sitting here trying to keep doing a YouTube channel with people who are not motivated. This honestly had scarred me with collabing in general when it came down to like the YouTube channel and stuff. That's why I don't really do groups like that, because if one person is working harder than everybody else in the group, that's not a collab. That's just not what that is. And so we ultimately just decided, hey, to part ways on the situation, and we all just went back to doing what we was doing. But that was one of the tensest moments that was in the group, and it never repaired. After that, everybody had a little bit of animosity for everybody in that area, and we just ended up just leaving Overcash and heading to a whole new building in itself anyway, because the gaming area got closed down because of the fact that they thought that gaming wasn't a part of the Learning Scholastic United crap. I don't know what the heck CPC was on during this time. It was just stupid. So that's the story of how a YouTube channel almost ended in violence. Like, just, oh my god, that story just always creases me to today. And like a little sidebar, that dude, the same guy Javier, he ended up to my knowledge, a lot of people were telling me that like a couple of years later, we didn't really know what happened to him because he had like left off, and a lot of us transferred out of like CPCC and went over to UNC. And when we went to that college, they said this man had ended up getting into some trouble and he ended up getting locked up. And I was like, yo, is he actually in jail or something like that? You know, we didn't know exactly what was going on with this man. And it was like, oh no, he straight up just was doing some off the wall type stuff. This man was crazy. And I was like, oh, good thing we distanced ourselves from him when we did. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't ever wish on like no downfall on nobody or anything like that, but just certain people just give off a vibe, you know? It's just that's just a crazy situation to me. It's just crazy in general. But anyway, if you like this story, please like, comment, and subscribe and whatnot. It helps the boy with the algorithm and everything like that, so we can get more videos out to you guys like this. So I enjoy making these, and if you guys want, you can definitely suggest more videos or anything that you want me to talk about. She Leaves Me Weak is definitely still going to be up on the board for that. I'm starting a new series called Downright Devious, where I talk about some of the pettiest things cartoon characters have ever done. So if you want to see more of this content, please smack that like button, please subscribe and turn on notifications. So I'm gonna see you guys later. Peace.